Welcome to this recording of Take God With You Through Life. This inspiring discourse features extracts from a talk given by Paramahansa Yogananda at the Self-Realization Fellowship International Headquarters in Los Angeles, California, on August 17, 1939. We are honored to share his divine insights and timeless wisdom with you today. Because of God, everything else is. Because of Him, you exist. Because of Him, you have material abundance and conveniences and all the satisfactions that go with them. So unto God, your gratitude should be great. Why then do you not remember His supreme importance to you? How can you sleep away each day in ignorance of Him? There is no excuse. Why give so much importance to material life? Attend to your earthly obligations, but all the while think of God. For every day the demon of fate is snatching people from this temporal land. At any moment you may be taken away. Perform your duties in this world conscientiously, but keep your engagement with God without fail. I work hard to serve all, but when I am alone meditating, I allow no one to disturb me. Other matters can wait. The engagement with God must never be neglected. One saint in India would not interrupt his worship to read even urgent messages. In your life, also, you must give supreme importance to daily communion with Him. Otherwise, you will never keep your engagement with God. Great teachers will never counsel you to be neglectful. They will teach you to be balanced. You have to work, no doubt, to feed and clothe the body. But if you allow one duty to contradict another, it is not a true duty. Thousands of businessmen are so busy gathering wealth, they forget that they are creating a lot of heart disease too. If duty to prosperity makes you forget duty to health, it's not duty. One should develop in a harmonious way. There is no use giving special attention to developing a wonderful body if it houses a peanut brain. The mind also must be developed, and if you have excellent health and prosperity and intellect, but you are not happy, then you have still not made a success of your life. When you can truthfully say, I am happy and no one can take my happiness away from me, you are a king. You have found the image of God within you. Be proud of that image within. If you rant and rage through life, constantly irritated by everything and looking down on everyone, and if you die with that consciousness, you won't have even begun to realize that God is within you, that He is yourself. Once an Indian saint and a few disciples were bathing in the Ganges when another man arrived and began to wash his horse near the holy man. As the intruder tended his horse, he was intentionally careless in splashing water on the saint. The angered disciples wanted to strike the offender, but their guru said, "No, let him alone." Suddenly, the horse kicked its master, knocking out some of his teeth. The saint went over and lovingly helped the injured man. The inexorable laws of nature, not the saint, had punished the wrongdoer. God and His cosmic laws work unfailingly for the benefit of those whose actions are ever in tune, and for the awakening through suffering of those who are not true to the divine self within. Man is made in the image of God. You should behave like a god. But what happens? First thing in the morning, you lose your temper and complain, "My coffee is cold." What does it matter? Why be disturbed by such things? Have that evenness of mind wherein you are absolutely calm, free from all anger. That is what you want. Don't let anyone or anything get your goat. Your goat is your peace. Let nothing take it away from you. And blame no one else for your unhappiness. Blame yourself. If you are mistreated by others, seek the fault in yourself, and you will find it much easier to get along with everyone. Jesus looked upon His enemies as little children. If a child hits you, you don't hate him for it. You forgive him, realizing he didn't know better. When people persecute you, do not desecrate the image of God within you by vengeful retaliation. If you want to realize His image within, remember now that you are a God and behave like one. Most people are victims of moods, and unless one controls them, they will control him. A person who is not self-controlled is not fully sane, and he doesn't know it. He who masters his moods becomes a more balanced individual. It is a strange phenomenon that no one can be tempted to do willingly something he feels is against his own highest interest, yet of his own volition, spurred by moods, whims, and habits, he does many things that are contrary indeed to his welfare. Always think first of what you're about to do and how it will affect you. To act on impulse is not freedom, for you will be bound by the unpleasant effects of wrong actions. But to do those things your discrimination tells you are good for you is all freeing. That kind of wisdom-guided action makes for a divine existence. Then you find and reflect the image of God within you. When you make up your mind to do or not to do something, and you carry out that resolution in spite of contrary influences of moods or bad habits, that is real freedom. The teachings of the great ones of India are not a Sunday affair to be forgotten the rest of the week. They are to be practiced daily. Mere belief is not sufficient. Self-discipline, control of moods, is also essential. The training given by India's masters is meant to show the disciple how to be unconditionally happy, untouched by suffering and change. For that training and understanding, I deeply thank them. God will not force Himself on you. If one is sincere in his search for truth, God helps him to find a book or a teacher to inspire and encourage him. When the seeker is deeply in earnest, God sends him a guru. A guru is a God-knowing person who has been divinely appointed by Him to take the seeker as a disciple and lead him from the darkness of ignorance to the light of wisdom. Through the guru's pure perception, God teaches the devotee. For the Lord has taken a vow of silence, and He does not address the disciple directly until that devotee has attained a considerable degree of spiritual development. God's silence does not mean that He is cruel or indifferent. On the contrary, in His humility and love, He has given man freedom to work out his own destiny. God does not wish to interfere with that free choice. He wants us to use our freedom to find Him, but He does not want to force Himself upon us. Until you know God, until you have heard His voice, no matter what spiritual path you are following, you have not attained real communion with Him. His voice can be heard. He can be known. He is more real than all the things you perceive with your five senses. But you must work at finding Him. The Guru is sent by God for success in the divine search, as in every other aspect of life. It is necessary to follow God's laws. To understand the secular knowledge available in a school, you have to learn from a teacher who knows it. So also to understand spiritual truths, it is necessary to have a spiritual teacher, or guru, one who knows God. Even if you cannot be in His physical presence, or even if He is no longer incarnate on earth, you must follow the teaching of such a teacher if you would find God. Just any teacher will not do. There is only one guru, uniquely the devotee's own. But if you turn away from the emissary of God, He silently asks, "What is wrong with you, that you foolishly leave the one I have sent to help you learn the divine science of the soul? Now you shall have to wait long and prove yourself before I shall respond again." He who cannot learn through the wisdom and love of his God-ordained guru will not find God in this life. Several incarnations at least must pass before he will have another such opportunity. An understanding of the divine law of the guru-disciple relationship is necessary. We learn this in India. It is very simple, but very important. You have to find the guru first, then real spiritual progress begins. It is not that I am trying to make you loyal to me personally. I am only stating a fact. If you want God, you must be loyal to the one God has sent to help you. Besides attunement with the guru, there must be day and night a consuming desire for God. The ardor of 1,000 million loves must be gathered in your heart for him, and the consciousness of urgent necessity, as the miser seeks money, as the lover longs for the beloved, as the drowning man gasps for breath, so must you desire God. Cry for him constantly. Am I going to find you? I want only you. As you pray and pray, perhaps you will see a little glimmer of his light to encourage you. But God wants to know if you will persist, if your will cannot be weakened by any temptation. Mistakes you have made do not matter. If nothing can change your love for God, he will come to you. But how many of you meditate deeply enough to receive him? If you do so in the right way, if you mean business with God and want only to please him, you will find him, and he will talk to you through your conscience and through your awakened spiritual perception. During one period, about 7 months ago, I was absolutely bogged in activity, lecturing every night and talking to people all day. There was no time to be alone with God, and so he seemed far away. I became very dejected. Lord, what is this? I prayed. How can I think of you? Shall I fly away from these classes? I ask him all the time if he wants me to leave everything to think only of him. I felt that my whole soul and brain were about to burst with longing as I went on praying and crying for him. What you do with me, I don't care. People have perished for money and for women. I don't mind if I perish for you, my God, but I must know you are here with me. How can I see you? How can I go on without you? I love to work. I love to help people, but not at the cost of losing you. Lord, my only thought has been to serve you in your work. So why is it I feel I have once in a while lost your contact? When I refused to give up until he responded, the most beautiful answer came. The Lord said, "When you are not meditating, isn't it true that in your thoughts you are missing me and thinking about meditating? When you meditated, you thought of me, and when you didn't meditate, you missed me. Therefore, the thought of me was always predominant." From that day, I have had 7 months ecstasy. Even though talking to people while I continued with the classes or otherwise working, I have felt every minute that bliss of God contact. This divine state has not left me these many months. No matter what I am doing, I find the needle of the compass of my mind always turned toward God. Such is the devotee's consciousness. You must similarly pray until you get his answer. He will respond to you, even as he responded to me. There is always some particular desire lurking constantly in your consciousness. Find out what is uppermost in your mind. Is it health, or money, or love? Perhaps your health has not been good, and in your mental background is a constant yearning. Lord, if only I could be healthy again. Why shouldn't you long for God in the same way? By remembering that he is ever with you and is your greatest necessity, you can keep God uppermost in your mind. A loving message for America. It is easy to remember God in India because there everybody talks of him. Here, if you talk about God anywhere except in church on Sunday, you are regarded as a fanatic. But America is advancing rapidly in spirituality. There is more understanding and desire for God here than in most other parts of the world. And I believe that a great blessing is going to come upon you. You must cultivate those qualities in your souls that will make all nations look up to you. The 2 most important commandments to be obeyed are these. Thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, and with all thy soul, and with all thy mind, and with all thy strength. Thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. Skrangtort neighbor means whoever is drawn into your path. When you have followed these two commandments, all others will be kept automatically. He who is humble and loves God is the greatest of all. It is easy to rationalize and say that you have no time for God, but in your heart and in the background of your mind, you can always pray unceasingly. Reveal thyself. Come to me. Thou art my life. Hold these thoughts no matter what you are doing. Whether struggling with a problem or enjoying some accomplishment, let God be ceaselessly in the background of your mind. I love thee alone. I seek thee alone. Reveal thyself. Then God will come to you. Thoughts are like the honeycomb. The love of God is the honey. If you are really sincere, God will come to drink the honey of your devotion from the honeycomb of your thoughts. The desire for God does not come of itself. It must be cultivated, and without that desire, life has no meaning. When you sleep, you say goodbye to this world, to your family, your name, everything. Even your body is forgotten. You do not know when you may have to say a more permanent goodbye to the world. You are on a journey, stopping here for just a little while. Life is like a great caravan passing by. Your first interest should be to learn the purpose of this journey and its destination. That destination is God. It could not be anything else. The Lord comes to the devotee who lives for him and dies in him. He touches that soul and says, "My child, wake up. You are just dreaming. Death has not touched you at all." Then the devotee knows that all his earthly experiences were meant not to torture, but to teach him his real soul nature. The soul cannot be burned. It cannot be drowned or stabbed or shattered. The devotee realizes, I am not the body. I am formless. I am joy itself. Remind yourself of this truth each morning as you awaken. I am just coming from the inner perception of myself. I am not the body. I am invisible. I am joy. I am light. I am wisdom. I am love. I dwell in the dream body through which I am dreaming this earth life, but I am ever eternal spirit. A controlled mind lessens pain whenever you are in misery. Physical or mental, practice this spiritual consciousness. During sleep, you do not feel even a broken bone. And if in waking consciousness, you keep a very controlled mind, 3/4 of any pain you experience will likewise disappear. For there is no relation between pain and the body except through the mind. When a stranger is hurt, you don't feel as much concern as you would if he were your brother. A mother watching over her suffering baby feels greater pain than she would if it were another's child. Similarly, physical suffering in your own body is intensified because, through identification with it, you are more in sympathy with your body than with someone else's. You must be better able to detach your mind and feeling from the body. That is why Jesus said, "Take no thought for your life, what ye shall eat, or what ye shall drink, nor yet for your body, what ye shall put on." Love for the body, love for the senses, these are harmful to your spiritual development. If you want spiritual illumination, practice these truths. They are so beneficial that they ought to be applied by everyone. Once in a while, try getting along without food and other comforts in your daily life. Fast for a day or two and deny yourself some of the pleasures and conveniences you are accustomed to, and see whether or not you are just as content without them. The really free-born person is master of himself. He is led by the inner wisdom of the soul, uninfluenced by others or by the dictates of his own habits or moods. This kind of freedom requires rigid self-control and a deep understanding of the self. But it is not difficult to attain this freedom. It is your true nature. One should maintain a constant mental state of devotion to God. I have tried every form of activity, but no matter what I am doing, my mind remains with God. You should enjoy this creation without being enslaved by it. I know from experience that the pleasure of finding God is the most enjoyable. Yet people are so steeped in delusion that they will not make the effort to know Him. They would rather engage in worldly interests or passively seek Him through reading books and wandering from one religion to another. People do not follow the real way of God perception because that way lies in continuously praying to God, in seeking Him day and night, and in conquering all forces that keep the mind away from Him. Yoga is most wonderful because it gives step-by-step methods that lead to God realization. In college, you may earn a DD and be proclaimed a doctor of divinity and still be a doctor of delusion. Practice of religion, not just intellectual understanding, is most important. Practice of the perception of God. The successes of some religious teachers are like spiritual mushrooms, growing overnight but having no firm foundation. Qualified teachers have divine realization and are guided by the blessing of God and their own God-realized guru. You cannot save others' souls unless you have saved your own. In the Orient, true seekers strive to attain their own salvation and do not proselyte to save others. In the West, many teachers aspire to save others' souls without first having saved their own. I have met such a one. He was a man of the flesh, through and through, yet he had a large following as a religious teacher. He pretended to be what he was not, a deeply spiritual man. Because I was born in India, he considered me a heathen, and, deeming himself a good Christian, he therefore felt it his duty to tell me that I didn't know anything about truth. But when I asked him to describe what he experienced when he went into ecstasy and communed with God, he could not answer. His greatness was as shallow as the flattery that proclaimed it. Then I gave it to him. Your experience of God and the true nature of yourself is severely limited because you are too identified with the senses to develop much spiritually. The adulation of many followers is not the measure of one's realization. That others say you are great does not make it so. Such flattery is insincere and meaningless. If you concentrate on receiving true love from people, drawn by your own merit, you will never again fall for flattery. You will see right through it. Flattery is poisonous because it is a distortion of truth and hence misleading. So long as you enjoy your band of flatterers, you will have no real friends. There are some who expect flattery from me, but I never give it. I cannot be insincere to the God I behold in all, even in those who are in delusion. Test yourself every day to see if you are behaving according to your true soul nature. Do not be discouraged in your efforts, thinking that God is not listening to your prayers or is not aware of your striving. If you study the lives of the masters and saints, you will see that they had much more trouble than you have. Not only did they have to conquer self, they also had to take on the problems of others. Each one who comes to the guru thinks he is the only one the teacher has to look after. He wants the guru to respond to him according to his own preconceived desires. And in addition, in this country, the expenses of an organization and of supporting disciples are such that the spiritual teacher has also to be a check-writing machine. But God blessed me through the understanding souls He sent to help me accomplish what He had brought me here to do. Follow the spiritual paths recognized by the masters who have found God. If you practice the self-realization, you will reach God much faster than if you travel the blind routes of theology. India specialized in finding God. If you follow her truly great masters, you will reach the goal much quicker. In my early seeking, I tried all methods. I know which is faster. Someone said to me, "Everyone claims that his path is best. How am I to know?" "Test them," I said. "It is only by tasting water that you can tell whether it will quench your thirst. Rationalizing about water won't do it. Pray that God lead you. If you are sincere, God will show you the right way for you." So, dear ones, remember, day and night seek God. Do not be controlled by moods or habits, but use your free will to do always the right thing. All the time, no matter what you are doing, mentally pray to God. Do not be absent-minded. Do things with concentration, but in the background of your mind, ever be calling to Him. "Lord, reveal Thyself. Come unto me. Thy love is all satisfying. I want Thee alone." And at night, meditate. Practice the techniques taught by the masters of self-realization, and you cannot fail to find God. Make the determination with me. O God, we make within our hearts a solemn promise, not to fall into the sleep of delusion, but to remain awake in Thee, to make every effort to pray unto Thee unceasingly in the background of our minds until we find Thee, and to follow the self-realization path of yoga, and through our example, help others to come into Thy kingdom. Father, help us to find Thee, for Thou art our own. Thank you for listening to this recording of Take God With You Through Life by Paramahansa Yogananda. May this wisdom inspire you to make God your constant companion in every thought, action, and breath. Remember, true success is not just in worldly achievements, but in realizing the divine presence within, guiding and uplifting us through all of life's journeys. Peace. Amen.